5 stages of a compulsive skin picker. This is after 15 years of dermatillomania experience myself. However, those with, say, for example, trichotillomania, which is compulsive hair pulling, or even eating disorders, they may find that they're also doing these 5 stages. And so it's important that we take note of what we're doing, these patterns, so that we can better understand like what we can do to help ourselves best. These are things that I've noticed within myself, and after talking to others within the dermatillomania community online, I've realised that there is a lot of us who do these things. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have already heard me talk about these 5 stages, but today I thought it'd be really important to chat about it again, just in case you're new to the channel, or don't follow me on Instagram, whatever. Right, so 5 stages of a compulsive skin picker. Stage 1 is the very easy one, the compulsive skin picking itself. Everybody's different. Some people go to certain areas of the house to do it, say, the bathroom when you're all alone, certain times. It may take a certain amount of time. You may hone in on certain areas of the face or the body. It can alternate. I know from myself, one thing that I've done for many years is like I focus on a certain area, and then once I've picked that, maybe the next day I will let that heal and I'll focus on another area. But of course, this is the first stage, and those of us with compulsive skin picking, we know it all too well. The second stage is feeling this huge wave of disappointment, shame, guilt, sadness, and this stage is really difficult. It's really difficult to get our head around because it keeps us within this loop. It's one that we have to take note of, to observe rather than really let us feel so bad. I know it's difficult because after you skin pick and you come out of that daze, you feel horrendous, right? I've had many times in my life where I'm just in tears and I just want to punch a wall. I'm so fed up with myself. And it's really hard to get out of that mindset. But that is the second stage of a compulsive skin picker. Stage 3 is making that decision in your mind that, you know what, no, tomorrow's going to be different. I've done this, I feel horrendous, I'm making a change, I can't do this anymore, I'm going to put more positive things in my life, measures, I'm going to deal with this, can't keep doing it. And it's just making that decision when your mindset shifts from feeling horrendous, disappointment, guilt, shame, and feeling focused and ready to take action, more positive action. Stage 4 is noticing the physical and emotional, mental, psychological benefits from taking the action. So say this tends to happen like quite a few days after you've not skin picked, or maybe weeks, when you're starting to feel or notice the areas are healed, the wounds have healed, and you're starting to feel a lot more confident because your skin's clearing, you're starting to feel a bit more open-minded, the anxiety has decreased because you don't have open wounds to look after, or all these like red marks all over the place, and you're starting to feel like, okay, you know what, I can do this. I'm doing good, everything's all right. This is the time that the change has been made, and I'm going to stick with it. And then of course, step 5 is going back to step 1. And so, as you can notice, it is a full circle. Now, why does that happen? Because I've had dermatillomania for 15 years, and for many of those years I didn't know what dermatillomania was. I didn't know that it was a compulsive skin picking disorder. All I knew was that it was what I thought was a habit. And if you don't know if your skin picking is a habit or a disorder, I urge you to check out my recent video that I posted, which may help you a bit with that. I also have a quiz. I can put the link in the description to this video that you can check out. I'm not a trained medical professional, but I do have my own experience, which is what I go off. And I do chat amongst the online dermatillomania community that does help me with these findings. So I'll put the link in the description so you can check that out. But what I realized was that I was setting myself up every time for disappointment by going through this motion. You know, especially after skin picking, when you go on to step 2 and you feel really, really lousy, you feel so bad. So much so that like you don't even want to leave the house, you don't want to see people you love. You know, I've been round and round and round with that, and that decision to change, and this time it's going to be different and I must stop. But we don't realize actually how much pressure we put on ourselves by making those decisions in our minds that, right, this is the last time, this time I will never do it again, I must be different, I've got to stop doing this, why am I doing this, no one else is doing it but I am, this is crazy, I need to stop. We don't notice like how much pressure that is putting on ourselves. And also another thing that we don't notice is that somewhere along the lines, our skin picking has been our safe place. It has been something that's given us a lot of comfort. It has dazed our overactive mind out of thinking about so many things, or at least so it seems, right? Because when you're compulsive skin picking, your mind is still on overdrive. It's thinking about so many things that have happened, things that haven't, and you just imagined it all up. But in that moment, you feel like you are completely present. You feel like you're only focusing on physically what you're focusing on. And it gives you a little, well, you think it gives you a little bit of a break. But of course, when you step back out of it, you feel horrendous. You feel so low. But until you understand, until you figure out new, healthier ways to deal with stresses of life, or, you know, social general anxiety, whatever it is, the compulsive skin picking will still be that safe place. And so it's really, really difficult to truly change your ways just like that. Of course, there are so many of us that want to just wake up one day and no longer have that urge. But if it's a mental condition, if it is a compulsive skin picking disorder, it's not as easy as that. And that took me a long time to figure that out for myself, to actually embrace it. I had to accept it. I had to realize that this really was a marathon and not a sprint. But the main thing was to get rid of that pressure, that huge amount of pressure that I put on myself to be like, look, this has to be the last time. I can't do this anymore. I must look good. Look at all these people on social media that look amazing. Why can't I look like them? You know, every time I do that, it just sets me up for disappointment at a later date, because dermatillomania feeds off pressure. It's what it all comes down to. Pressure. Not just pressure that other people put on us, or jobs, or bills that we have to pay, you know, environmental pressures, but the pressure that we put on ourselves. I don't know about you, but I have been my own worst critic, so I know that I have been putting a lot of pressure on myself. And it takes time to create and build those healthy boundaries that allow us to heal, because that is exactly what we need to do if we're really going to manage our dermatillomania. So those are the 5 stages. Once again, stage 1 is compulsive skin picking. Stage 2 is feeling really, really bad about it, coming out of that daze and feeling absolutely terrible within yourself. Stage 3 is making that decision that you're not going to do it anymore, that things are going to be different. Stage 4 is starting to feel really good about it and starting to notice this new wave of confidence, you know, saying that you're going to go do this, you're going to see these people, you're going to do things that maybe your anxiety previously would have stopped you from doing. And then stage 5 is going back to compulsive skin picking. Now, just quickly, what can we take from that? What we can take is that there's a hell of a lot of pressure within that cycle. And the only way that I can say, based on my own experience, is that kind of putting a spanner in that cycle is taking the pressure away, is removing that. So what I do is every time I catch myself skin picking, I, you know, sit myself down, I meditate, or at least stop what I'm doing, and I ask myself, what am I thinking about? Trying to observe the emotion rather than playing part of the emotion and allowing that to take over my mind. Just see what it's doing, see what my mind is saying, what's going on there, but just observing rather than letting it all take charge. And then instead of feeling so low and disappointed and guilty and angry, frustrated with myself, I just take that time to up my self-care. I notice that that is the time where I need my own self-compassion and love and care most. So I do little things that make me feel good, such as I put on my favourite TV show that I know will make me laugh, or I'll light some lovely candles, I'll dim some lights so that I don't feel an urge to pick at my skin some more, or I put on some lovely moisturiser that I know makes me feel really good. Just little things like that. I write down what I'm feeling, or I meditate so that I can just kind of press pause on my mind again. But just by eliminating that stage 2, feeling really crappy, and just changing it with something that is a lot more self-compassionate, you will find that the whole cycle is, you don't actually need to have it. It doesn't actually need to be such a difficult thing. Just by removing that step 2 and being a lot more compassionate within yourself. So I guess, yeah, hopefully what you can take away from this is, if you find yourself doing this pattern, notice it. Notice how you react. Notice what your behaviours before you've seen this video. You know, does this make sense to you? And if you find yourself, you know, you're at stage 2 and you're feeling really bad and you've compulsively skin picked, that's okay. That's totally fine. But take that moment to look after yourself, because that's when you need yourself the most, you know? So yeah, also just to let you know, I have created a dermatillomania survey. I would absolutely adore it if you could take 2 minutes to click the link that I've also put in the description of this video. It will take you to this short survey that I've created. It will really help me to understand more about our community and what we do, so that, you know, we can help ourselves, because we know that research is limited. So I think it's really important that we help ourselves to better understand what we're doing, what we need, and how to go about that. Just to let you know, it's completely anonymous, so if you can spare 2 minutes to click on that link, your data is 100% safe. Nobody is going to figure that you've clicked into it and you've helped me out with that. I am not going to do you like that. But yeah, I would absolutely love that. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe. I'd love you so much. I love you so much anyway, but I love you even more. Anyway, I hope you have a really great weekend, and yeah, do let me know your thoughts on this topic, on the 5 stages of a compulsive skin picker. Just hit it down in the comment section below, and sending lots of love to you. Hope you're doing well.